Students, I think previously what all I have told you about the NEET portions that is useful to you, and I expect you to take the transit book or whichever NEET book you have, go through all the questions and mark the answers. If the answer is given at the end, answer keys, still you need to justify those answers, because most of the time just reading and writing based on the answer keys, the right answer is this and all, writing is not working here. What you have to do is, I hope you have to take everything, learn everything and justify why that is the truth, right answer. Okay, I hope right now it is useful to you, and I hope today you will be really feeling happy because you have finished 2 units completely, and coming test also you will be writing about the human reproduction, and actually I have done almost in explanation only all those NEET concepts also. So anything which is repeating the same thing, then I will not do much explanation, otherwise we will do it in detail. Okay, so let us start with the NEET part of reproduction in plants. Plant reproduction, we study its NEET part. Some of the questions from the transient I will explain you. Some more, if at all it is required, some other questions from some other book also I will explain you. But ultimately, all the NEET questions we want to finish as we complete the chapters. Okay, so let us begin with the first question in reproduction in flowering plants of transient. The first question is, a dithecous anther consists of how many microsporangia in each lobe? Means first option, the first question is given as a microsporangia, how many are there in each lobe, right? So as you know, the microsporangia, suppose you take a dithecous anther will have the structure like this, right? This is the way it will be. Here is one anther lobe, here is another anther lobe. These are the microsporangia. This is first anther lobe 1, and this is anther lobe 2, right? And each anther lobe has 2 microsporangia or pollen sacs. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Totally these are the microsporangia. So therefore, anytime you talk about the dithecous anther, it will have 4 microsporangia or the pollen sacs, if it is a dithecous anther. So connected to this, if you take off monothecous anther, I told you that along with that whatever comes, let me explain it. If it is a monothecous anther, this dithecous anther looks like this. I hope you know this. It will be having first anther lobe here and second anther lobe is here. But in monothecous anther, there will be single anther lobe like this, right? And it will be having the opening like this, right? This is single anther lobe. If you take the section, you only get, there will be structure like this, 1 anther lobe over here, 1 anther lobe here. So in monothecous anthers, there are 2 pollen sacs along with single anther lobe, 1 anther lobe, right? So this is the connected question I explained you. Therefore, among the given answer, the right answer should be first option, that is 4 anther lobes in 4 pollen sacs in 2 anther lobes. Okay. So now we move on to the next part, that is, which of the following statements regarding the structure of microsporangium are correct? See, already we have learnt it, so it will not be a difficult thing for you, right? First option says microsporangium is generally surrounded by 4 layers: epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum, right? So remember the structure. When I had drawn this, what we are given is, it will be like this, right? Like this. What are the layers? This will be innermost layer is tapetum. Inside this you will have microsporangial mother cells. Then the darker ones, right? Then surrounding this you get the middle layers. Around 2 to 3 layers of middle layers you will get, right? Around 2 to 3 layers of middle layers. Then comes the next layer is endothelium. Then this is the epidermis. This is epidermis. This layer is endothelium, having the radially thickened cells. So this is epidermis, this is the endothelium, and this is the middle layer, this is tapetum, and these are the microspore mother cells. Okay, so therefore what is the answer then? It will have 4 layers. That is, what are those? Epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum is right. That's a true statement. See, whenever you say this is right, you should justify this and think that how they will come, where they will come, right? Second question, second option or second statement given here is outer three layers perform function of protection and dehiscence of the anthers. Think about it. See, outer layers, I told you, whenever you come here, you get some thin wall cells over here. You can see here. These are the stomium cells. They will break open, along with all this will break open. Whenever there will be dehiscence of anther, they will separate, right? They will separate and dehisce and releasing the pollen grains like this. So therefore, the outer layers help in dehiscence of the anther is a true statement. Then comes the third statement saying that cells of the tapetum undergo meiosis and produce a microspore tetrad. This you have to understand properly because tapetum layer is only helping for the nourishment of the growing microspore mother cells to microspores. Therefore, this tapetal layer, whatever I draw, tapetum, this will not help in tapetum, will not help in the production of microspores or the pollen grains. They are the nourishing cells. Only these microspore mother cells that are diploid, they undergo meiosis and form haploid microspores, which are n number. Therefore, the third statement given here is not correct. It is incorrect. Okay. Now, we will move on to the next one. Signs of cultivation, breeding, marketing and arrangement of flowers. What do we call it as? Which is that field called? That is arrangement of flowers, cultivation and breeding of the flowers and again marketing them. What do we call this? Right? So this condition, right? What do we call it? One first given is arboriculture, second one is floriculture, third one given is horticulture, fourth one is anthology. So among this you will be knowing the horticulture, that is development production of vegetables, anthology study of anthers, and then floriculture is study of the growing of flowers and marketing the flowers. So it is a cultivation and breeding, marketing, the arrangement of the flowers is called as the floriculture. This is just to remember, right? Next question, let's go to the fifth question. Drawing is there, the same type of drawing is given almost. You have to analyze, identify what are these parts. First one, A is given, that is next to the epidermis they have given. You can check the diagram. This part they have labeled it as A. This is endothelium. Already that's the reason I have drawn the diagram. This is endothelium. B, the one given is middle layer. This is given as a B, right? This is middle layer. And C given is a tapetum, right? We can see the same diagram almost given, only part is enlarged. I have drawn the complete anther. So therefore, the first A is endothelium, B is middle layer, C is tapetum. Option C is right in this because already I have explained in the diagram. Now, refer the given statements. You have to refer these first. What are the statements saying? Outer exine is made up of sporopollenin. Sporopollenin, again whenever I say sporopollenin, you should get back all the subject. See already, really I am feeling happy that these things and all we have already explained. In the regular portions only I explained. Whether I solve the questions or not, you will be knowing what is the answer from this, right? But still, I want to solve because again it's like a revision for you. Therefore, it's like I am revising it. Outer exine is made up of sporopollenin is truth. I am sorry. Next, inner intine is pectocellulosic in nature. What is pectocellulosic? It contains cellulose plus pectin. The inner intine I told you, it will be thin layer. So, if you draw the structure of the single pollen grain, the fifth question I am solving. So, if you observe a single pollen grain like this, it will have outer designed, highly sculptured or spiny exine. This is exine made up of sporopollenin. This is intine made up of the pectocellulose layer. Pectose plus cellulose layer. Right? This is made up of sporopollenin. Right? The inside this you get the cytoplasm and the main nucleus. This is the main nucleus. Even one more thing you can write here, there are number of germ pores through which intine comes out forming the pollen tube. This is the structure, is the answer I am explaining you for the 6th question. This is the second. The first statement is outer exam is made up of sporopollenin, and in the this is sporopollenin, and in the intine is made up of pectose and cellulosic layer. Then generative cell is bigger and contain abundant food reserves. So this you remember whenever you are explaining or understanding the subject, you should know one thing. Whenever the divisions of the pollen grain take place, because when the pollen grain is released at the 2 cell stage it is releasing. So how I told you, this division happens, first division is like this. The smaller cell is actually called as a generative cell, right? This is the generative cell, right? This main nucleus one is dividing, and the bigger one is called as the vegetative cell. So what they given third statement, generative cell is bigger and contain abundant food reserve, but generative cell is not bigger, it is smaller and contain less reserves or no reserves, but vegetative cell contain is a larger one and contain lot of reserve materials. And later I told you, already we discussed, but still you understand that generative cell later detaches and start floating in the vegetative cell cytoplasm. That is how the division take place and how there will be rearrangement of these cells, and at the stage when the complete thing, the cell is released, the pollen grains are released, they are at the 2 cell stage, right? This is the basic thing you have to understand. 2 cell stage the pollen grains are normally released, but in some of the plants the 3 cell stage they are released, but that is the further thing. But right now majority of plants release their pollen grains at the 2 cell stage. Therefore the third statement is wrong, saying that generative cell is bigger and it contains cytoplasm or the food reserves is wrong statement. Then fourth statement says that vegetative cell is small and floats in the cytoplasm of generative cell. This is also wrong, just because I told you that generative cell is small, after some time it will get separated and start floating in the vegetative cell's cytoplasm, but they are given the reverse. Vegetative cell is small, they are given, and it is not going to float in the cytoplasm of generative cell. Therefore the third and fourth statements are wrong statements in this. And what they are given, which of the given statement is not true? Not true. See, understand properly. Most of us what we do is we will read some of the statements. Normally what we think is, they will ask what are the true statements in this. We will already always listening, we call that character. We think that okay, this may be which is true they have asked. Therefore you will write what are the true statements. First 2 are true statements, next second and third and fourth are wrong statements. But read it carefully. This is where we go wrong while doing the NEET exam paper. Because we take it for granted that it is the question which will ask you what are the true statements. You already put it in your mind that this must be like this only. No, you read top to bottom the complete question. Maybe you take 2 minutes, 1 minute, complete 1 minute to read the whole statement and then analyze the statement, then think about its theory, then only you should answer. See what they have given is, they said that which of the statements are not true regarding the structure of pollen grain. Not true means which are false statements. Which are false here? The third and fourth statements are false. Therefore, among A, B, C, D, C is the one which is showing third and fourth statements. So therefore, C option is right for question number 6. Okay? So this every time whenever you read the questions, you should have patience to read it completely. Don't take it for granted that this is the type of question maybe I have discussed here which are not true right now. Maybe in main examination it comes as which is true. Then you should not take, okay, madam has told this is not true, that may be the answer, that just simply you write it. No. You should read it and see what they have asked and give certain logic for your answer, why your answer is right. Right? Not because you have once learnt it and you have by hearted it, no. Right? as much as possible every question have to be analyzed, because I am telling you in NEET paper you will have 45 questions from botany. This all plant reproduction comes under botany only, right? Therefore, you cannot think that first PUC it is like this, second PUC it is like this. It is not that question here in biology. In biology, the main thing is botany portion 45 questions, zoology portion 45 questions, right? This comes under botany portions. What earlier I explained you in reproduction in humans, reproductive health comes under zoology portions. Therefore, botany portions most of the time our students feel that it is somewhat less interesting. But I am telling you, that's the reason I gave you the whole detail. Even I am observing the number of people who are watching this. When I started with the reproduction in plants, very few people are watching it. Just because it is not interesting, it's not a question, you are not watching the movie, you are watching the subject. Moreover, so many people already have in their mind botany is not interesting, but I am telling you, botany or the plants are important, and they are the ones living, and they are the ones which are making us live, right? If they are not there, we are not there. So take interest in botany portions also. And moreover, whenever we talk about NEET portions separately, in first PUC syllabus you just check, there is complete botany portions from angiosperm morphology is there, anatomy of flowering plants is there, then basic plantae kingdom is there to start from algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperms. Their whole life cycle of organisms and classifications are there. Then plant physiology starts with the water transportation of minerals is there. Then transpiration, guttation, all that is plant related. Then photosynthesis in plants, respiration in plants, growth in plants. So many parts of the botany portions are there in first years. Second year portions, botany portion may be little less. But one of the chapter what I have already completed belong to the plants only. That is why you have to concentrate in this, and you will have to get equal marks in both botany and zoology. Because although 45 questions are from botany and 45 from zoology, most of the students take interest in zoology, write all the questions in human physiology, human reproduction, everything. Botany, if you go wrong, or botany you are not interested, you are going to lose marks. So try to learn botany with same interest as zoology. Try to again go to the site and reload them and observe and study plant reproduction, right? So when I give you the questions from plant reproduction, if you leave this as an option with writing the plant human reproduction more, it is not going to work for you, right? I am thinking of your scoring in future, right? So therefore don't careless or neglect botany portions, right? Now on, I will check whether you people are watching botany portion also or not, right? So now I told you that the question 6th is over. 7th question says that select the mismatched pair among the 4 which is not matched, you should tell me, right? Storage of pollen grains at 190 degrees centigrade, right? If you store the pollen grains at 196 degrees centigrade, that is liquid nitrogen temperature, they stay vital. After that they can again start growing when you take them to the culture media. That is true, right? Which is not matched, you should check it. Pollen allergy in carrot grass. Pollen allergy, little bit let me explain you. Chasmogamous flowers means what? The plants or the flowers in which anthers and stigma are open to the air. They are not covered. They are called chasmogamous flowers. What is the opposite? Cleistogamous flowers. I told you cleistogamous flowers are those whose the anthers and the stigma are covered by the petals or sepals or the bracts, everything will be covered. Then that is called the cleistogamy or closed flowers, which is observed in Camelina plant. Right? So let me explain you all of them separately. Last one is xenogamy is self-pollination they are given. So this is a wrong match because xenogamy is transfer of pollen grains from one flower of one plant to another flower of the another plant. Okay, let me give you the details of this now. So what is that given as? The first option what they have mentioned, The first option is the pollen grain has to be kept at 180 degree centigrade minus 180 degree, not plus, it is minus is given. Whether you can see it or not, I don't know. I told you liquid nitrogen temperature, it is minus 196 degree centigrade. You make it in your book if it is not clearly visible. Then second option given is pollen allergy. That is the question number 7 I am giving you. The second option given is pollen allergy by carrot grass. It's a kind of grass which will have lot of pollen grains produced. So one little bit extra thing let me explain you in this, right? Because once you learn some new words, you are supposed to understand their meanings and also the details of that. Right? What I told you, pollen allergy is nothing but we call it as a pollenosis. Pollenosis is nothing but pollen allergy. Right? It is due to carrot grass. We call this as hay fever. Hay fever. Hay is dry grass. Whose dry grass? It is a carrot grass whose dry grass produces a lot of pollen grains. And what is pollen grain allergy? It is most of the time during the pollination time, all the pollen grains are there in air. Most of the human beings, when they come across these pollen grains, they enter the nasal tract and they start irritating your nasal tract, causing allergic disorders. This is the allergens we call them. Right? This is again, I am connecting it to the respiratory disorders. It's a one kind of a respiratory disorder, prevailing disorder. Actually, in Bangaloreans, a lot of people have got allergy towards pollen grains. That's pollenosis they are getting. But this results in what are the symptoms? They get continuous sneezing, redness of the nose and cheeks, and they get tears or watering of eyes. Continuously, they cannot open their eyes in light. That is one more characteristic. Then they will have running nose. A lot of watery fluid passes through the nose. This is because they will produce some chemicals called histamines. They will make the blood vessel dilate. Therefore, there will be redness in the cheeks and the nose, and they will swell up. Blood vessels will swell up. That's called the vasodilation. So all these things you should remember here. So what all I told you right now, it is about the allergy. Allergy caused by pollen grains. What are the characteristics of symptoms of allergy? So those which cause allergy are called allergens. Then I told you what are the allergens. Mainly pollen grains are the allergens. Apart from that, lot of other allergens. Smoke is an allergen, and the dust is an allergen, and the powdery thing or chalk dust may be sometimes acting allergen. It is not actually allergen. Cold weather acts as allergen, and sometimes the pet dust like their fur and all coming in air, or the ticks and mites coming in air, they will inhale, you will inhale and got allergy. You may get allergy. So those are called as allergens. Now, what are the symptoms of allergy? I told you what you will get if there is allergy. First thing, what I told you, there may be continuous sneezing. It's not just one sneezing or two sneezing, continuously 20 to 30 times there will be continuously sneezing. Then apart from that, there will be running nose. Running nose, there will be watery discharge from the nasal area. Then there will be eyes are watering eye of eyes, watery eyes. Right? This you remember that this may come under the zoological part also for the hay fever. Therefore, whenever I get some extra options, I would like to discuss them also. Maybe I will not discuss all the questions, but whichever is new, let me discuss them. Otherwise, you simply cannot say, oh, it's not there, madam has not told, okay, let me not mark. But don't do that. Everything which is wrong, whichever comes under your syllabus, I will cover this off. Right? Next is watering of eyes, and then I told you redness of the cheeks and nose. This is due to the production of the histamines, which result in what they do is they help in vasodilation. What is vasodilation? They dilate the blood vessels. Right? Blood will dilate, they will get swollen up, and therefore these will look bigger also, and also they become red. These are the characteristics. So all these are caused by carrot grass. Not only carrot grass, there are so many others, but carrot grass is the first or the major one that contributes for the pollen allergy, right? So apart from that, I told you so many other things are allergic to you, but still this is a major one, and sometimes they lead to sometimes the seasonal allergy or seasonal asthma may continue with this. This may lead to the asthma also. If the patients are there with asthma, they should not get exposed to pollen grains or early mornings going for a walk and all. Let them cover the nose and as much as possible nose and mouth, because the respiratory tract will end there also. Therefore, let them cover so that they will not inhale the pollen grains. Whereas little bit later when there is sunrise, they can go for walk. So these are all extra things, or it's a common understanding of the subject. Anybody, just I have heard that some students told their parents are also watching. This is the best way. They also get some knowledge, and really I appreciate that parents are entering into the subject and they are also learning it. It's a very, very wonderful thing. My students only, they called and told me, I was so happy that everybody is getting knowledge. Instead of sitting at home in lockdown, nobody is doing nothing, that's not good. Get in the subject, you have good blood circulation to the brain also, right? So therefore pollenosis, what I have given you, this is the information you should remember about the pollen grain allergy. Next is about the chasmogamous flowers, right? This already a little bit I discussed earlier, but let me discuss some more now. What is chasmogamy? Chasmogamy refers to the open flowers, right? Which see, as I told you, again I will discuss it again and again when these questions come. I am going to discuss because it's like a revision for you. So they say the third statement saying that chasmogamous flowers. What is chasmogamy? When the flower sex organs are exposed to environment, they are called chasmogamous flowers. So that means if this is the gynoecium, this is the stigma, style and ovary, and here are the anthers. This is one anther, this is another anther, and here suppose at the base you will get stalk, calyx, corolla, calyx, corolla. This is open to the environment. So pollen grains can exchange, they undergo cross pollination. So one of the important character for the chasmogamy or for undergoing cross pollination is having chasmogamous character. So all these normally undergo cross pollination only. But what is the opposite of this? That is called cleistogamy. Cleistogamy is the opposite characteristic to chasmogamous flowers. What happens here? If this is the gynoecium, here is the androecium, the whole thing will be covered by the either petals or the sepals, like this. Like this, they are totally covered, right? Calyx and corolla, everything will be covering like this. So this cannot be exposed outside. Whatever pollen grains are produced here, they will have to fall in its own stigma. But these are exposed anyway. Foreign pollen grains which are coming from the air, they can transfer to this, right? So therefore, these chasmogamous flower are exposed to air and they prefer the cross pollination. One of the conditions for cross pollination is having chasmogamy. What is about cleistogamous flowers? This is the character where the flowers are closed. Sex organs are within. Therefore, they will have to undergo self-pollination. So, they are self-pollination oriented. And most of our flowers, what you observe, like hibiscus and all, they undergo cross-pollination because they are exposed. This example for this is Commelina. Commelina is an example for the cleistogamous flowers in which the sex organs are closed, they are found within the or covered by the other floral members. Therefore, they are called the cleistogamous. So, this is compulsion for self-pollination. This is cross-pollination. It is probability of this chasmogamous flower is to undergo cross-pollination. But one wonderful thing you remember, if suppose pollen grains won't enter, if it's a bisexual flower, if by cross-pollination if it doesn't take place, then how beautiful flowers act is, they will take their own pollen grain and take them on self-pollination. If the cross-pollination fails, after exposing the sex organs also, if the cross pollination fails, they don't waste anything. They undergo self pollination. In the seventh question, the option third one is about the chasmogamous flowers. You can see that chasmogamous flowers show the exposed anthers and stigma. Just now I explained you that they are having exposed stigma and anthers because they will tend to undergo cross pollination. But along with it, you can remember what about cleistogamous flowers? They are the closed flowers. They undergo self pollination compulsorily. Then last option given is xenogamy self pollination. So this option must be wrong because there is asked what is mismatched pair in this. The xenogamy is, what is the exactly xenogamy? So xenogamy says that the gametes are foreign gametes. Means this is one flower, its stigma, its anthers. Here is another flower, the anthers and stigma. If the flower of plant A release the pollen grains in the air, these pollen grains pass to the stigma of the another plant B stigma, then it is called as xenogamy. This is not self-pollination. It must be cross-pollination. It's a type of cross-pollination. Therefore, this is the wrong matching, that is D option. Therefore, that is the right answer for this question number 7. Now, let's move on to the 8th question. It is given as a typical angiospermous ovule is attached to the placenta by means of a stalk called X. Right? Imagine this is the ovule. Okay? In the ovule, we have the placenta here. The placenta tissue, there is a stalk called, the ovule stalk is here. There is asking this. This stalk, it is attached to the placenta. Right? This is called as X. They said X here. And the body of the ovule fuses with X in the region Y. So this is the region in which the ovule is attached, or body of the ovule is attached to X. This part they have asked, it is Y. So that's what is X, what is Y, right? So this is very simple. You can see that this is placenta to which the stalk is attached, drawing the nutrition, and there will be a raphe present here. This must be the ovule stalk. We call this as hilum. Already we know this. Hilum is the stalk of the ovule. Then to the X, ovule is attached at Y. This must be high. This is actually the funicle. The stalk is called the funicle. The attachment is called as hilum. Right? So the stalk of the ovule, which is attached to the placenta, is funicle, and the body of the ovule that is attached to this X or the stalk is hilum. Therefore, the answer is one is funicle, that's of the stalk. Funicle is attached to the body of the ovule at hilum. Therefore, the answer must be A, funicle and hilum. X is funicle, Y is hilum. The answer should be A. Right? Now, 9th question says, the true embryo develops as a result of fusion of, right? There is a fusion of what all the cells or the gametes will form the embryo. That is the question number 9. So this I told you with the question number 8. Now we will move on to the question number 9. What is the 9th question saying? The development of embryo. They are the embryo development. What is that? Fusing actually. First option they say two polar nuclei of the embryo sac. So before you get into the answer, let us learn how embryo develops. This is the embryo sac. Here is the egg cell. Here are the synergids. Here are the 3 antipodal cells and the polar nuclei. Right? The 2 male gametes by the pollen tube are released in the synergids. These are the 2 male gametic nuclei or gametes. One of them they will unite with the egg. This is the egg nucleus plus the male nucleus. This is forming, this is equal to zygote, the diploid structure which forms the embryo. Okay. What about the another one? Another male gamete is passing all the way like this and fusing with the polar nuclei. The 2 polar nuclei which are haploid in nature fuses with one more male gametic nucleus plus N. This results in triple fusion. Triple nuclei are fusing. This is triple fusion 3N. This is called primary endosperm nucleus. In future it becomes endosperm. Endosperm is the nourishing tissue for growing embryo. Right? So what is given is, first one says two polar nuclei of the embryo sac. Are they going to form the embryo? Polar nuclei will not form the embryo in future because they are going to form the endosperm. So first option is ruled out. Second option says the egg cell and the male nucleus. You can see an egg and the male nucleus are fusing. Therefore, this is the right answer. But what are the other two options given? Third option, C, says synergids and the male gamete. These are the one and two synergids and the male gamete. Anyway, male gamete is not fertilizing with synergids. Synergids are only helping cells for the egg cell. Therefore, the C option is also incorrect. D option says male gamete and the antipodals. Male gametes, antipodals, no connection. Antipodals are not fertilizing anywhere, they are not fusing anywhere. They are going to disintegrate in future. Therefore, among all the four options, option B is right, which says that egg fertilized with the male gamete will form the zygote into the embryo, which is already given. Therefore, option B is right for the question number 9. Okay. Now let's talk about the 10th question. Select the correct option regarding the ploidy level of different structures of an angiospermic ovule. See, here most of the students get confused because they will be hardly knowing what is ploidy. So before entering into the details of 10th question, I will give you some clarity about the ploidy levels. What do you mean by ploidy? Because if you don't get understanding of ploidy, then you cannot get into the questions or answers. So ploidy refers to the chromosome number. So chromosome number or the ploidy is divisible, or it is divided into two types of ploidy levels. One is called euploidy. This we call it this first one, euploidy. Second one is called polyploidy. What is meaning of euploidy? U is true. The true chromosome number is called the ploidy, euploidy. This includes two true numbers. One is a haploidy. Haploidy refers to single set of chromosomes, that is N number. Second one is diploidy. Diploidy includes two sets of N number, it is diploid number. Then this haploid number is common in all the germ cells like egg or the sperm or the pollen grains. They will have single set of chromosomes. Diploidy means they have two N number, there are two sets of chromosomes. This is found in all the vegetative cells or the somatic cells and starting from the zygote. Okay, this is diploid chromosome number. Now, what is polyploidy? If the chromosome number is more than 2 set, it is called the polyploidy. Right? If it is 3N number, it is called triploidy. If it is 4N number, it is called tetraploidy. And if it is 5N, and it goes on like this is called pentaploid number, pentaploidy. In general, polyploidy is not found in nature except for 3N in the endosperm. Primary endosperm nucleus, there will be 3N. Otherwise, 3N, 4N, 5N, 6N and all, it is not much available. But plant breeders, some of them are available because of the polyploidy, that number of chromosomes are more and the cells are bigger, organs become larger. Therefore, in modern plant breeding methods, they induce polyploidy by using certain chemicals like colchicine. Colchicine induces polyploidy. Therefore, some of the plants what we are eating, the rice is a tetraploid rice, and what we are using wheat is a hexaploid wheat. There are polyploids, right? But now I am talking about ploidy level, overall idea you should get. So ploidy, natural available polyploidy is the haploidy number or diploidy number. Polyploidy is normally not available. Now coming to this, with this knowledge you can go to the question again. They are saying ploidy level you have to select. A option says nucellus is haploid. So what is nucellus? If you think of the growing embryo or the ovule, there will be nucellar cell here. I hope you have already learned this in the development of the embryo. Among this nucellar cells, there will be one of the cell which is large, which is called as a megaspore mother cell. Then remaining are the nucellar cells. This nucellus is normally diploid in nature because it is the regular body cell. Then one of them which becomes large and with a prominent nucleus, this is called the megaspore mother cell. This is also diploid in nature. Later this megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis and form 4 haploid nuclei, among which 3 of them will disintegrate and only 1 will survive as a functional megaspore. This is a functional megaspore formed after meiosis. So it is haploid in nature. You can see here, this is diploid, this is diploid, this is haploid. Once you understand the growing stages, then you can very easily analyze what is the ploidy level. So first option given is nucellus N. That is wrong actually. Nucellus is 2N, diploid number. Megaspore mother cell is 2N, it is correct. But functional megaspore is this, they are given it as 2N. This is again wrong. So first option, it is wrong option. Second option says nucellus is diploid, 2N is correct. Second option, that is the second one, says megaspore mother cell is N. But you see here it is diploid. This is diploid. Only this is N. Therefore, second option is wrong. But functional megaspore is N. That is correct. Therefore, in B option, there is one thing wrong, that is megaspore mother cell is N is wrong. Then C option says nucellus is diploid, 2N is nucellus. That's correct. Right? Then megaspore mother cell is 2N. It is correct. Then functional megaspore is N. That is correct. Therefore, C option is right. In D option also something is given wrong. In nucellus they have given it as N. That is wrong. Therefore, whenever you just get some extra information like this, you have a small note next to the question or have a notebook of NEET. There you write about the ploidy levels, and I want you to take it down somewhere and keep it, because this question will appear again in future from the molecular biology or wherever you talk about the ploidy number or chromosome number, aneuploidy, polyploidy and all. So this you make a note connected to this, but for the question which is given here as a 10th question, answer should be the C option. See, this is the right answer, but note down the drawing here. These are all nucellar cells. This is megaspore mother cell. On meiosis is forming the functional megaspore, which is haploid. So remember, this is the right answer. So just take a screenshot and write this down. And most of the time students will be asking, what to write, madam? These points I am saying, you write it down. These are going to help in future. Okay. So now we will move to the 11th question. 11th question says, select the correct statement or statements regarding the structure of mature embryo sac. Mature embryo sac, what is right in this? First one says, egg apparatus is situated towards chalazal end. So egg apparatus is not situated at chalazal end because you already know that diagram, right? So this ploidy level we have to erase now. So what is that given? They say that here is the embryo sac, here is the egg apparatus, there is the egg and 2 synergids. These are found at the micropylar end. This is micropyle. Here are the antipodals at the chalazal end, and here are the 2 polar nuclei. First option itself is wrong, saying that egg apparatus is situated towards chalazal end is wrong. It is situated, this is the egg apparatus, it is situated at the micropylar end. Therefore, first option is wrong. Second is antipodal cells are situated towards the micropylar end. See, these are the Antipodals in the embryo sac, they are situated actually at the chalaza end. So the second option is also wrong. Third option says that, or third statement gives that a typical angiospermic ovule has 7 celled, it has 7 celled and 8 nucleated at maturity. See here, 1, 2, 3 cell, 1, 2, 3, totally 6 cells, and this at maturity they will fuse, that becomes a 7 celled. These are 3, these are 3, this is 1. So totally 7 cells are there. 7 cells are there, and nuclei 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 nuclei are there. The maturity, this is 7 celled and 8 nucleated embryo sac. That is right. That's the right option. So among all the A, B, C, D option, only C option says that third statement is only right statement. Therefore, that question number 11 answer should be C option, because they are given third statement is correct. Because only third statement is correct, therefore it is right. Okay. Now, that is the 11th question. Understand thoroughly, and this you note it down. Drawing also you just draw. Keep it in front of that question only. You will get the right answers, and you can justify the answers. Okay. Coming to the 12th question, we have finished the 11th question. Let's talk about the 12th question. Which of the following options is correct? Means one or many options may be right in this. First is the 12th question I will deal with. Go through the 12th question in cancel. Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower is autogamy. Is it right or wrong? Right? Transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the same flower is called autogamy. So first saying it is autogamy. What is autogamy? This transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the same flower is right. So first option given is A option given is right. What is given as B option? Transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of the same plant is gytenogamy. So again you can get the idea. This is the anther, this is the stigma, this is the in the same flower, in the same plant, plant A. If these pollen grains pollinate the stigma of this, or this will pollinate the stigma of this is called as, again, a type of cell pollination. We call it as gytenogamy. So therefore gytenogamy answer is also correct. Right? B option is right. Third option says, C option says, transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of genetically different plant is xenogamy. So what they are saying, what is correct? So two different plants of the different plants, if they pollinate, it is called as xenogamy, is also correct. Therefore, D option is the right option for this, because it is given as all of these are correct. So all the three statements what they have given is, they are all right statements. Therefore, D is the right answer. Right. Let's now move on to the question number 13. What is the 13th question saying? Refer the given characteristics of some flowers. Some flowers, some characters are given. You have to refer that. So first characteristic given is light and non-sticky pollen grains. Pollen grains are light and non-sticky. So what is this character? Immediately you should get that one thing should strike. Light and non-sticky pollen grains are wind pollinating flower pollen grains. Second one, it says that exerted stigma and anthers. So if this is the flower, okay, the stigma and anthers are exerted out, right? They are moving out. They are not within the floral character. So this is the plant, these are exerted out. So this is the exerted stigma and the anther. This is also correct. This is also correct. This is for both of them are the characteristic of anemophilous flowers. Third says large, often feathery stigma. This stigma is large and it is feathery. Means it has feathery like structure. Feathers are there on the stigma. Right? This is also the characteristic of anemophilous flower. Why? Suppose the pollen grains are released, they are coming in the air. This is easily taking them because they are light and non-sticky pollen grains. They are flying in air. If they come in contact with this feathery stigma, they can get stuck here. That's why wind pollinating flowers have modified in such a way that they will catch the pollen grains that are there in air by producing feathery stigma. See, feathery stigma, it is catching the pollen grains. It is also an anemophilous character. Next is, the flowers are colorless, odorless, nectarless. Most of the time students will mistake this statement that it may be a self-pollinating flower character. But think about it. All other characters are showing it is anemophilous flower. But if you think of anemophily, wind pollinating flowers, if the pollen grains are released in air, why the petals should be colorful? Why the plant or flower should produce nectar? Not needed. And why the flower should have nice smell or the perfume? Because wind will not sense all these things. These are the three things required for the entomophilous flowers, that is pollination through the insect. These are the required characters. But if this character is there, that means it is cross-pollinating with the help of wind, because wind don't require any color or the fragrance or the nectar. Therefore, all the statements are pointing towards anemophilous flowers. Then the last statement says it is commonly found in grasses. Grasses, all the grasses will undergo cross-pollination. So what is the option? All the above option say that is it a characteristic of anemophily, or it is hydrophily, or entomophily, or zoophily? First, you should know the meanings of all this. Anemophily refers to pollination through wind. Hydrophily is pollination through the water current. Entomophily is pollination through the insects. Last one, zoophily is other animals that are helping in pollination. So among all the four, what are the given statements suiting more for? All of them they suit for anemophily. Then what are the characteristics of other flowers? One or two let me give you. First one, hydrophily. Normally flowers or plants are present in water. They are aquatic plants and they release the pollen grains or the main flowers in water current. Through that they are pollinating. Then that is only depending on water current. Okay. Next is entomophily is insect pollinating flowers. They must have the ability to attract the insect vectors. Right? How should be the flower? Flower should attract either by producing beautiful color, mainly red and yellow, or it should have some nectar, which is a gift for the entering vectors, because insects will visit it only when they get something like nectar. Then only they can visit the flowers. Just to attract the insects, they will become colorful, or they produce some perfume by their scent glands. Therefore, entomophilous flower must be colorful, or they must be having perfume, or they should have nectar, or all of them. That's why the entomophilous character is there. As they have given your answer, or whatever the statements are given, they all hold good for anemophilous flowers. The same way, if they ask for entomophilous flowers, these three things are compulsory. Therefore, you should know what can be the type of question for the remaining options also. Then comes zoophily. What is zoophily? It is the pollination through certain animals, like goats and cow and all moving inside the plant. Normally, in such plants, the pollen grains are either hooked, they get attached, they must be sticky, they are attached, and they will help in movement along with the animals, and they help in pollination. Therefore, among all the options, the right option for given statements is anemophily, that is option A for the 12th question. Right? Now, we will move on to the 13th question. So, 13th question says that which of the following is not water pollinated plant? Means hydrophily, which is not hydrophily, undergoing hydrophily or water pollinating plant. First one says Zoostera, second one says Vallisneria, third one is Hydrilla, last one is Cannabis. For this, you need to know the botanical names. Because most of the time, whatever you are learnt in first PUC and as you are studying NEET, you are supposed to know some of the plants' botanical names also. Zoostera is a hydrophilous plant. It is aquatic plant. Vallisneria already you should know that it is a submerged plant in water and it produces male and female. Its sexes are separate. Male plant will be different, female plant will be different. Male plants produce male flowers that will flow in water current. They reach the female plants' spadix like inflorescence. They pollinate it, and after pollination, fertilization, the stigma, the whole of the female inflorescence will get down and will produce a fruit. Therefore, it is 100% water pollinated plant. Then says hydrilla. Hydrilla is maybe in your labs or they will bring this plant. Hydrilla is a pakka normal water pollinated plant. It is a total aquatic plant. So all the aquatic plants must depend upon water current only for their pollination. Therefore all the three are water pollinated. But the question is cannabis. If you know the word cannabis only, you can understand whether it is also hydrophilous plant or is it also aquatic plant or is it a mesophyte which is growing on the land. So answer is cannabis sativa. You heard about cannabis sativa plant which belong to family cannabinoides. That is Cannabinaceae family. Actually cannabinoids are used as drugs, narcotic drugs, right? That is why all of the cannabis group, most of them, they produce some drugs, narcotic drugs. Therefore that is, anyway, the side information I gave you, cannabis is a land plant. Therefore among all the four options, only cannabis is the land plant, remaining three are the water plants. Therefore in all of the other three there will be water pollination, not in cannabis. Okay, therefore the answer should be D. Right. Next question. This plant flowers in 12 years. 12 years once it will produce flowers. During September and October 2006 it was flowering. Okay. Its mass flowering transformed the large tracts of hilly areas of Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu into blue stretches and attracted the large number of tourists. Which is this plant, right? This plant actually we can explain it again in the first chapter, that is reproduction in animals. In that something about the plants I'll give you. So this plant actually is Neela Kurunji. We call it Neela Kurunji is the name of the plant. Neela refers to blue. Neela Kurunji is the plant growing in the hill which is blue colored. That's why Neela Kurunji is the name given. Its biological name is Strobilanthes kunthiana. Therefore, you should know the botanical name, but remaining plants' botanical name also you should know. First one is Bambusa. That is a Bambusa is a bamboo plant, right? Bamboo plant is not producing flowers in 12 years. It produces flowers once in its lifetime, 40 years once. Therefore, Bambusa is not the answer for this. Second option is Strobilanthes kunthiana. This is the right answer because Strobilanthes kunthiana produced 12 years once flower during the flowering season. They went 2006. Whole of the hills, that is from Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, that stretch, produce all these plants produce flowers at once. They whole look like a blue colored hills. That's why they were called as Nilagiri. Nilagiri hills they call it. Nilagiri because blue colored hills are formed. Therefore, that is the name of the plant is Neela Kurunji. Therefore, the answer should be B. What about the other plants? Kigella and Adansonia. These are actually some kind of plants which grow as weeds. Adansonia, that is the plant which is grown as for the cattle feed and all they grow it. Therefore, all other plants are not right. The one which produce flowers in 12 years is Strobilanthes kunthiana. The option B is right. Now, 16th question. These plants flower and fruit only once in their lifetime and die after fruiting. These are, means which are the plants that produce flowers once in their lifetime. Afterwards they will not continue to grow, they will die. Which are those plants? First option says it's a monocarpic plant. Second says polycarpic plants. C says vegetative plants. D says reproductive plants. Actually, meaning you should understand. Mono means single. Carpi is producing the fruits. Therefore, those plants produce single time flowers and fruits in their lifetime are called monocarpic plant. The example is bamboo. I told you bambusa is the name of that. It produces once only flowering. Normally it starts its 40th year it starts flowering. After flowering and fruiting, the whole plant will die. There is no continuation. Only when the seeds will grow as a new generation plants, then only new generation will start. But that plant will produce only once in their lifetime flowering. Second one says polycarpic. Poly is many. Many times it will flower and fruit. It is a polycarpic plant. Means in a year many times it will go flowering, fruiting and all. Many in every season almost they will be producing flowers and fruits. They are called polycarpic plants. Right? Most of our plants are polycarpic in nature, including your mango and all. Then vegetative plants is having actually no meaning. Vegetative plant means something that will reproduce vegetatively. That you can take it. Vegetative plants are not at all connected to sexual reproduction. Then come to reproductive plants, means those plants which reproduce. This is very general explanation. Therefore, among all the four answers, only the first option monocarpic plants is right, and the example for monocarpic plant is bambusa. Bambusa is bamboo plant. Right. Now, 17th question, spiny or sticky pollen grains and large attractively colored flowers are associated with. Means, what are the characteristics given? You write it down somewhere. 17th question is given. What is it saying? The spiny or sticky pollen grains. This is one character. Pollen grains are sticky and they are spiny, and their flowers are large and they are highly attractive. Okay. Then this character is associated with. This already I have discussed in the previous question, but still let me give you the answer. A option they are given hydrophilic. You know that A option is not right because they want water current. B option they are given entomophily. Entomophily is pollination through insects. C option says ornithophily. Ornitho refers to the pollination through birds. It is also not correct. Then D says anemophily. Anemophily is a wind pollination. So spiny, sticky, because entomophilous flowers, if they are spiny, they can attach to the mouth parts and the body parts of the insects. Transfer from one flower to another flower, that is cross pollination happen through the insects. All these characters are required. They should be attractive also because the insect have to search where is the flower, and also it should be with sticky pollen grains or spiny pollen grains. So these are all the characteristics of entomophilous flowers, or it is entomophily, that is a pollination by insects. Therefore, the option with entomophily, B option is right option. Right? Now, 18th question is given. Just observe the 18th question. They are given a diagram A, B, C, D. You have to check. Right? What are they? Right? What they are given is, here they are given 3 cells, 1, 2, 3. Right? And here they are given big egg apparatus with synergids. And at the center, here are the 2 polar nuclei. This is what the diagram is given. They are given this as A. And what is given? B is this. This is B. Then C is the egg. This is B. Okay. B is this one. Okay. If the diagram is not clear, you check it. You can correct the diagram. This is B. This is C. Okay. This is A, B, C. Then D is the last one. Right. Here it is D. This is D, right? So if the diagram is not very clear, you just modify the diagram and draw at the side, right? That's why I am giving you a diagram again, right? So what are these then? A, you know that they are the antipodal cells found at the chalazoid. B is this one, that is this one is B, this and this are B. These are the synergids. C is the egg apparatus or egg cell. D is the filiform apparatus. So what is the function of filiform apparatus? It helps or guide the male gamete to move towards the egg. It is like channeling. It will transport, help the male gamete, it will direct. Okay, this is the egg cell, direct that. Right? So these are the parts of 18th question. So among this, right option given is B, where they are given A as the antipodal, B as the synergid, C as the egg cell, and D as the filiform apparatus. Therefore, in 18th question, the answer should be B. Now, we will move on to the 19th question. Just this you draw, and somewhere in the side you redraw the diagram, because diagram is little shady. You cannot understand whether this is the diagram or the parts are correctly labeled or not. That's the reason why I labeled them again. Only thing is, you can darken this area. This is the filiform apparatus, which is covering the whole of egg apparatus. This is filiform apparatus. Okay, one is egg. This is synergid. This is another synergid. This is the polar nuclei. These are the antipodals. Okay, this is the structure of an embryo sac. Okay, fine. So I hope you have drawn this, and just make it pass or take a picture and draw it. Okay. Now we move on to the next question. So a lot of questions we are discussing about the flower and pollination in flower, formation of the embryo sac and development of the embryo, everything. Right. Now 19th question I will give you. Refer the given statements. Let me read out the statements, you to read it. First statement says that both wind and water pollinated flowers are not very colorful and do not produce nectar. So, is this a right statement? You think about it first. Right? Because they are saying both wind and water pollinated flowers are not very colorful and do not produce nectar. It is almost, is it right or not? Think about it. Because why they require all this attraction and all? Water current will happen on its own, it will not see the color and nectar and all. And wind also will just blow in that air only pollen grains have to be released. Why they need to be attractive? That's a right statement. Right? So every statement you start analyzing and put some logic for that. Second statement says that entomophilous flowers are large, colorful, fragrant and rich in nectar. This is right statement, isn't it? That is the character required. Suppose they ask you in few exams also, write the characteristic of entomophilous flower, anemophilous flower, everything is coming under this. So I can easily answer this, right? So entomophilous flowers, entomophilous flower means the insect pollinating flowers should be large, colorful, fragrant and rich in nectar. They should have large amount of nectar also. Like you have seen honeybee, whichever flower it will visit, it will be having beautiful color and nectar. Then only you can have the honeycomb with lot of honey in it. Then who will put honey in the honeycomb? They only will have to do it. For that, so many millions and millions of honeybees are going and collecting it. Years together they collect from one honeybee. So imagine so many flowers they would have visited. So one day, if at all you are nowadays you are free, if you have small flowering plants in front of your house or in your house, keep watching how the insects will enter and how they collect the nectar and all. Is very simple. And most of the time I have seen students, whenever they see insect, they think that they are going to come and bite them only. No, they have some other business to do. Therefore, keep watching the nature. Next is Kigella pinnata is insect pollinating flower. It is also right. Kigella plant. Exactly Kannada meaning you should get it. This is not much having Kannada meaning you don't know, because they are little difficult plant it is available. Which of these statements is incorrect? Kigella plant or Kigella pinnata is insect. No, Kigella pinnata is not an insect pollinating plant. Actually, Kigella pinnata is normally type of plant which is not pollinated by insects, right? Therefore, third statement is only incorrect. They are asking which is incorrect. Kigella is not an insect pollinating plant, therefore it is the wrong statement. Now, next question is 20th question. Flowering plants have developed certain outbreeding devices to discourage cell pollination and to encourage cross pollination. One of these is not an example of such outbreeding device. So see, what is outbreeding device? Pakka definition is given here. You can write this as a definition for what are the outbreeding devices. How to define it? The flowering plants have developed certain outbreeding devices to discourage cell pollination and encourage cross pollination. What are those? Which is not an example for outbreeding device, they have asked. First one they are given dicliny, second is dichogamy, third is hercogamy, fourth one is cleistogamy. Do you know the meanings of all this? So first option, the 20th question I will give you. So first option A they are given as dicliny, right? B they are given as dichogamy. Okay. C they have given it as the hercogamy. Last one, D given is cleistogamy. First thing you should know the meanings of all this. Dicliny is nothing but the unisexuality. Having unisexuality, it is 100% outbreeding device only. If it is unisexual, it has to undergo only cross pollination. Cell pollination cannot happen because one flower will have male sex organ, one flower will have female sex organ. It has to undergo only cross pollination. Dichogamy refers to having bisexuality, but male and female sex organs mature at different time. Okay? Okay? Here, male and female sex organs mature at different time. Therefore, dichogamy is also outbreeding device. Hercogamy is the condition in which the physical barrier is brought between male and female sex organs. That also will avoid cell pollination and induce cross pollination. What about cleistogamy? Cleistogamy means the closed flowers. Closed flowers cannot undergo cross pollination because in them cell pollination becomes compulsory. Therefore, among the four options given, only D is not the outbreeding device. The remaining all the three are outbreeding devices. Therefore, remember for this question only these three, then meanings you should understand. Then what is cleistogamy, if you know, and this happens in the plant like camelina. This is an example I am giving you. In this example, flower is closed. That makes the plant to undergo compulsorily cell pollination. That's why we call it cleistogamy, and it doesn't undergo it doesn't show any outbreeding device. Therefore, this question, understand it, these are all outbreeding devices. Okay. Coming to the next question, about the 21st question we talk about. This is given as dash cell of the pollen grain divides to form two male gametes, right? So which cell of the pollen grain divide to form two male gametes? First one saying vegetative cell, second is generative cell, microspore mother cell, and D none of them. So now again I will give you how exactly pollen grain undergo division. Pollen grain germination if you talk about. So this is the haploid pollen grain having intine, and this is exine. Okay. Whenever it is developing, first I said it will undergo division here only to form two nuclei. This is called as the generative cell. Generative nucleus is formed first. Nucleus. This is the vegetative nucleus. Vegetative nucleus. Vegetative nucleus. Now, after some time, this will start floating in this. That is, the generative nucleus becomes generative cell and start floating in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. Right? This is a two-cell stage. Now, next stage is this generative cell divides into two when it will form the pollen tube. Pollen tube is formed during which all these contents, first one goes inside is your vegetative nucleus or vegetative cell. Here this generative cell will divide into two male gametic nucleus. These are the male gametic nucleus, male gametes. Okay, this is the cytoplasm. So now you got an idea then. The one which form male gamete is the generative cell, not the vegetative cell. Right? So keep that studies or the details of the subject in your mind, then we can answer this question. So 21st question answer is generative cell because it forms two male gametes. Here are the two male gametes formed by the generative cell, therefore that is the right answer. Coming to the next question, that is 22nd question. Right? This drawing you just have with you, that near that subject, that question, you just draw it, then your all problems are solved. Because again you have to go back and refer all those things. Just draw a small diagram then and label them. Then it is very simple. Anytime these questions come, you just go through this diagram, you will get an answer. Second question. Milk of tender coconut represents A. What is that? And it is surrounded with the coconut meal that represent B. Right? What is that coconut, tender coconut containing? So this we have discussed earlier, but I want to discuss about coconut fruit. So when you talk about the coconut fruit, the tender coconut, you think about the green one, not the one what you bring home, the only having endocarp. But the tender coconut, when you observe, you will find this is the outermost covering, which is green colored one. This is the green one, outermost covering. This is the epicarp of this. See, all the parts you know, because they have asked only what is the inner portion, but you should know outer parts also. Right? This is the epicarp. Then here is your inner coconut, hard one. This is a stony endocarp. This is the endocarp, which we bring home. This is the hard one, which we break is endocarp. This is endocarp. Surrounding this we have the fibers, thick fibers are there. This from the mesocarp. Actually from mesocarp they extract fiber, they produce coir. Coir or whatever you get, the thread, I think, thick coir is formed by the mesocarp of coconut. So we have epicarp, endocarp and mesocarp. Mesocarp is this, endocarp is the stony layer. Right? Here all the parts of the fruit are not edible. These are the coverings of the fruit. We call this as the pericarp. Pericarp is not edible in coconut, although it belongs to the fruit called drupe. It's a drupe type of fruit. But normally in drupe, another example we have learnt it as in mango. In that epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp all are edible. But in this epicarp or mesocarp or endocarp, all the three are not edible in coconut. Then what is there inside? Inside this you get, there is a small seed here or the embryo. It will be having a central big vacuole and there will be a triploid endosperm nucleus. PEN will be there. This is what it forms the tender coconut water or coconut milk, what we call. This is a tender coconut milk. This is triploid in nature. This is PEN. PEN is 3N in number. But later, as they go to the periphery, these are the just free nuclei are found in the liquid. But once they go to the periphery, they start cellularizing. Okay, first part what I showed you is a free nuclear endosperm divisions take place. Later cellularization happens where the cell wall is brought for them. Right? This is the fully developed endosperm, solid endosperm, right? Or mature endosperm. This is normally 2N or N. PEN is a liquid. What we drink is this primary endosperm nucleus. The outside one is the regular endosperm. So inner part is having free nuclear divisions. It is a free nuclear endosperm. But later becomes cellular endosperm towards the periphery. So keep this in mind, and again I want you to draw this diagram nearby that, because it is a part covering the fruit part of the first PUC syllabus, and second PUC syllabus about the fertilization and the end products of fertilization. Both it is covering. And one more thing is here, primary endosperm nucleus is rich in nutrients because it has 3 times the nutrients, vitamins, growth hormones are there in this. Therefore, the primary endosperm nucleus or tender coconut water form an excellent drink. It has all the nutrients and is highly sterilized with so many coverings above. Right? Even you refrigerate, so many microbes will grow in the refrigerator also. But this is highly nourished, it's highly protected area in which this is growing, primary endosperm nucleus, and it is rich in nutrients. I told you, it can be used like everyday drink, like morning drink or evening drink. You make it as a coconut water. Now let us go to the question. 22nd question says, milk of the tender coconut represents what? First one I said, free nuclear endosperm. This is a free nuclear endosperm. Primary endosperm nucleus is forming free endosperm, free nuclear endosperm. Next comes the cellular endosperm. This I told you, cellular endosperm, the mature part. That's what we call it as the coconut meal. We call in English this as coconut meal. This is the coconut water. Coconut water is nothing but primary endosperm nucleus or the free nuclear endosperm. Coconut meal is what we call white the cobra. That is what we call the coconut meal. It is an endosperm. It is cellular endosperm. Therefore, among all these options, B option is right, which is given, which is giving the A as, or first answer as free nuclear endosperm, second as cellular endosperm. Therefore, this 22nd question, B is the right answer. Then we will move on to the 23rd question. It's a very simple one. Fusion of one of the male gametes with the egg nucleus is referred to as. Yeah, I told you around 2-3 times while answering so many other questions, you can directly write it as a syngamy, because one male gamete fusing with the egg nucleus, egg is called as syngamy, resulting in zygote, zygote from the embryo. Therefore, it is B option. 23rd question option is B, the correct option. 24th question. Double fertilization was first reported or discovered in 1898 by whom? In Fritillaria and Lilium. There are the 2 plants, Lilium and Fritillaria. The scientist worked on it and he was the first person to show that angiosperms undergo double fertilization. That was discovered by whom? First one said Navaschin, second one is Strasburger, third name is Amici, and fourth one is Foch. The answer will be Navaschin, because he is the only one, first person to show double fertilization in angiosperms, which is a characteristic feature of angiosperms which will never happen in other plants. Like gymnosperms or any other plants, it will not happen. Only angiosperms have this property of undergoing fertilization twice, 2 times. That's why it was first discovered by scientist Navaschin. Now, 25th question. Endosperm is completely consumed by the developing embryo. Means this I showed you here, endosperm. In this, endosperm will be still there when the fruit is fully formed. Also, it will be there. But if it is not there, imagine the type of fruits or the types of seeds. So if you think seeds, some seeds in the fruit will not retain any endosperm around them. They are called non-albuminous seeds or non-endospermic seeds. They will be dry in nature, like pea. They will not have any jelly-like endosperm around the seed. They are called non-endospermic seeds, right? But some of them, like castor and other plants, they retain the endosperm. They are called normally endospermic seeds, right? So they are saying, the question number 23rd is saying that, no, 24th. It says that endosperm is completely consumed by the developing embryo in pea and groundnut. I just told you, pea will absorb totally. Therefore, when you open the fruit, the seeds are dry. They don't have jelly-like covering on that. pea and groundnuts are non-endospermic or non-albuminous seeds, right? What about maize and castor? They are monocots. They will have surrounding them whatever you eat is the endosperm only. Seed is at the side. It is called scutellum. Next is the castor and groundnut. Castor is actually albuminous seed, but groundnut is non-albuminous, but they are given together. Therefore, C option is wrong. Next is maize and pea. Maize is right. Maize is albuminous seed, but what about pea? Pea is a non-albuminous or non-endospermic seed. Therefore, among all the four, the pair which is right is pea and groundnut, which is an example for non-endospermic or non-albuminous seed. Okay, that's the 25th question. Just go through this, then we will think about the other questions later.